Okay then, so without further ado, let us get stuck into the game. So let's go to single player. We're going to start a new game here. And we will start, a new game from scratch.
Hailing from the cloudy planet Altair, the proud Alkari are an old race of avian hominids. Although well known for their peaceful disposition, they are fierce in combat and will rarely back out of a fight if they believe they have just
Michael
cause.
Dawn, they've got doing the narration, who's Worf,
The Skylord rules over the flock
reading basically the text on
uncontested.
the right there.
He is the de
I'm not going to
facto
stop him talking
commander
because
of all
I can't actually stop him
Alkari
talking
fleets,
right now, though, so I'll
crewed
just
by
talk over him a
highly
little bit.
skilled and disciplined soldiers. Their pilots are among the finest in the galaxy.
I'll let him finish.
Alkari religion permeates every aspect of their culture, and their zeal can oftentimes be confused with fanaticism. They believe the god of sky created the Alkari to gaze over every horizon, and have been driven into space to fulfill that calling.
Okay, so first thing we have to choose when you start a new game is what race you're going to play. Now, as noted, at the moment there are 6 races. Now, if you are a veteran of the series, you'll recognize all of these. They're actually the original races from the original Master of Orion, so the ones that were added in Master of Orion 2 are not in there. So that means there's no Illyrians, there is no Nolums, and no Trilarians. If I remember my Master of Orion 2, I think that's the only races they cut out. Now, they haven't added all the races in yet. You can see there's greyed out ones down the bottom here. You've got the Darloks, the Klakons, the Mechlars, and the Silicoids who will be coming soon. And also the ability to design your own race, as you always could. What you have got already, though, is the Alkari, who are basically bird people. They're very good at flying. They have very good bonuses in sort of ship combat in general. They're basically good at flying ships. You get the Bulrathi, who are the bear people. They are very tough and
The harsh Ursa system is home
very
to the
resistant
Bulrathi, a ferocious warrior race
they're very
committed to
resistant
preservation
to gravity
of
effects,
nature.
and they're just tough.
Fearless and brutal in combat, they rely on
get
their
the humans,
strength after ages of
who
internal
are excellent
conflict,
diplomats. They
and
also
faced
have,
with dwindling
I'm
natural
not sure
resources
if
on their home planet of
counter-espionage
Earth.
lower than normal. If that's
Humanity
actually a
finally
penalty
came
or a
together
bonus,
to
but
form
as
a
noted,
consolidated
espionage is
government,
not actually a problem
replacing the
in the game
many
at the moment.
nations once
The
dotted
Meershans,
its political
or the
landscape.
Mershans, who are the
The
cat people.
blazing savannas of Fieras gave
very good at
rise
ground
to
combat.
the ruthless warriors known, primal
You got
in
the
their
Sakra,
ways.
who
The
are they
cold-blooded
just grow
Sakra from the
fast,
planet
because
Sla
big-ass
seemed
lizards.
uncouth and unenlightened to many of the other races.
And the Cylons,
Under the supervision of the controller
who
at
are
Mentar,
basically your
a
classic
sprawling
grey
network of
aliens,
Cylon communities
and are
comprise the
excellent in
Quanta.
research. They are just the tech
Devoted to the
maniacs.
unraveling of the mysteries of the universe, each quantum investigates independently in order to contribute to the knowledge of the whole. The Cylon are a peaceful race and only keep fleets of highly advanced warships as defensive measures. Brilliant researchers, they are often ahead in the technological race, yet seldom seem to take advantage of their superiority. Instead, they prefer to trade for new discoveries while shielding themselves from the rest of the galaxy in order to continue
Cylon
investigating
dance.
in peace.
Wom, 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 wom. Right, wrong kind of Cylons. Anyway, I think we're actually going to play as the Cylons because I always like research and tech. Actually, you know what? No, we're not going to play as the Cylons. We're going to play... I don't know, the Sakra are pretty cool. Humans... I've played through the game already since it's come out as the Bulrathi and as the humans. No, we'll do the Cylons. Okay, so... There's a little intro movie about them, which we'll watch in a minute, but first of all, we can choose what the other races are going to be that we face off. Now, obviously, at the moment, with those races option, the maximum we can choose is 5 races. I would assume, looking at down here, there is the option eventually to play 8 races. You can choose galaxy type, circle or spiral. At the moment we're going to go with the spiral galaxy. And at the moment you can only choose galaxy size medium or large. I would imagine again in the full version you can choose many more options there. We're going to stay with medium because with 5 races, if you go bigger than medium, it can take a while to meet anyone, and since I'm doing this as a video series, I don't want this game to take 7,000 years. Galaxy Age, it doesn't really spell it out here, but I'm guessing it still works the same as it always used to. If you go young, there tend to be more sort of white young stars, which tend to have mineral rich. You know, the galaxy is very mineral rich, but not so diverse in life supporting planets. Average is a bit, you know, kind of roughly supposed to be based on our galaxy as it is alone. And if you go an old galaxy, there's a lot more red stars, so sort of burnt out giants, and you know, it just affects the mineral and biomes available. There'll be more in an old galaxy. There'll be less resource-rich planets, but there'll be more sort of barren worlds and things, less young radiated. So, you know, that's. You also have the Big Bang seed option here, which is literally a random generator. You can type whatever you like in here. I could type in any old number. Let's go blah 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 blah. That's our seed. And it's just a way of randomizing the galaxy. However, if you were to type in that same string of numbers, you would get the same galaxy as I have. Same stars. And you can click to randomize as well. We'll just click that a few times. There you go. Advanced options, you can turn on random events on or off. Random events can be, you know, they're not massive game-changing events, but they're just little bonuses that happen, or penalties, like an earthquake will blow up a building on a planet, or a population boom will make a planet grow faster. Pixel ships is listed as forthcoming downloadable content. I guess it must change the ships to look maybe like throwback ships like the original Master of Orion, or maybe they look like little dot ships or something. I don't know what that means exactly. I'm sure when it comes out as an option I'll pick it up just for the hell of it, because it'd probably be pretty cheap and it sounds interesting. And if I can make the game look like Master of Orion 2 at times, that would be kind of fun. Pirates, pretty self-explanatory. Basically, they're like barbarians in Civ. You get occasional pirates that attack. They're not very dangerous. Oh, that's the other thing. At the moment, the game is locked to average difficulty. Honestly, I would say it's not that hard. I would say it's quite easy on average, especially if you've played this kind of game before and know what you're doing. I would imagine that's locked down largely because they're working on the AI still. The AI isn't that bright yet, I will say that outright. The AI is pretty easy to, you know, beat to death. I actually did lose the first game I played at this one. I got cocky, thought, oh, I know what I'm doing, picked a fight with a race, didn't have nearly enough ships, and they beat the crap out of me. However, once you know what you're doing a bit, it's not hard to get you with race. And the diplomatic AI can be a bit funny sometimes. Sometimes they will sort of give in to demands and, you know, make quite sensible options. Like, for example, there was a game I was playing where I put a big fleet in orbit and that was vastly overpowering compared to an opponent. I said, you, give me that colony, or else. And they did. They gave me the colony. But there are other times, like when you're at war with, for example, another game I was playing, I had basically beat the Cylons back to the point where they had their home world and one colony and no ships, and I had a massive fleet in orbit of that colony and said, do you want a peace treaty, basically? And they for peace I would like that colony, and they said no. So I said, you know what, maybe they're just being stubborn and hateful. Do you want a peace treaty anyway? You can keep the colony. And they said no, in return for peace we would like this, and this colony, and a bunch of money. And, you know, if you're in that position where you're going to die if you don't get a peace treaty, you would take the peace treaty. You know, if I was in that position as a human player, I had one colony left, and my opponent said, you know what, would you like us to stop killing you? I would say, yes, please do stop killing me. But, I don't know, maybe they're supposed to decide to go down fighting at that point or something, but there you have it. Monsters, occasionally you get planets that are guarded by space monsters, and you can fight the space monsters, and you have to beat the space monsters before you can colonize the planet. Generally speaking, if there's a monster guarding the planet is a pretty nice planet. Beat the monster to get it. So, you know, that's no different from the original Moo. The main difference is they don't just attack you as soon as you enter the system. You have to actually try to go to the planet. So it's not quite as horrible as, you know, you go to a random system and find, surprise, your fleet dies. Racial traits. I would imagine if you turn that off, the racial bonuses are just switched off and everyone gets the same bonuses. Which I suppose is fairer, but it kind of, you know, defeats the point of playing with those different races, so I can't imagine myself I want to turn that on. Unless you were playing like a really competitive multiplayer game and you wanted everyone to be on an even footing just with different pictures. Balanced starting conditions, I would imagine gives everyone the same type of start with roughly equal sort of distribution of worlds and things. And the victory types. By default, every game has a conquest victory option on, which is where you can just literally wipe all the other races out and you win. Excellence victory is literally a score victory. If the game caps at 500 turns, I believe, if you get to that 500th turn, the game will end and the person with the highest score wins. And diplomatic victory, at some point in the game, I'm not sure exactly what triggers it, because obviously at the moment there's no manual or real FAQs. At some point in the game, voting starts for basically the galactic president, or essentially, like, it's like a UN victory in Civ. If you get voted head of the Galactic Council, you win the game. You have to win by a 2/3 majority though, so you can't just, you know, fluke it by a couple of votes. Generally speaking, pretty much everyone, the most populous 2 worlds will start to vote for themselves, and that's the way it goes. But you know, with alliances and stuff, you can force a vote for, you can get other people to vote for you, and then I think you win as allies if you're, I'm not entirely sure how that works, but there are other victory conditions that will come in. I think there's an economic and a technological victory you can get as well, but those aren't in the game yet. You can see some of the things you can research for science victory, but anyway, we're not going to do that yet, so we're just going to start, and I will shut up for a moment and you can hear the silent intro. You can also see that the Cylons have really cool looking sort of, you know, UFO style ships. Here we go.
The Cylon have looked to the stars above Mentar and wondered. Generation after generation, the isolated Cylon quantums strived to unravel the mysteries surrounding them, to add an iota to their combined knowledge. Now the time has come for the Cylon quanta to go beyond in their search for answers, to travel to the deepest reaches of the galaxy and solve the enigma at its core.
Makes things a little bit better for me then.
Greetings, Controller. You are the Controller, of course. It follows that I am Moldred, your cooperator. I'll be assisting you with any and all needs for your projects in the galaxy, and updating any relevant parameters as we get new information, and so on, and so forth.
Oh yes, I remember the problem with playing the Cylons. Every race has an advisor who talks at you. The Cylon one is this guy who's kind of irritating. However, that irritation is tempered by the fact that he is voiced, I think, by Alan Tudyk, who you will know as, well, you may know as Wash from Firefly, and he's awesome. He is kind of insane in this and kind of irritating, but I can live with it. Okay, so here we are. Here is the start of our game. We have Mentar Prime, which is our homeworld. It is a large homeworld. It is Terran, and it is abundant. That is a good starting planet. Our home system is crap. We have the one planet, but that's all we've got. We've got an asteroid field over there. Asteroids do not concern me, Admiral. I want that... No. Sorry, asteroids early on you can build worker ships, worker construction ships, and you can go and build asteroid mines and stuff on them, which will give you a little bit of extra money, or an asteroid research base that'll let you get you some extra research. Later on, when you research more tech, you can research artificial planet construction. You can basically build a planet out of those asteroids, which is kinda awesome. But yeah, you can see graphically it's a really cool looking star, really nice galaxy there, a lovely little asteroid belt, as well as a little cluster of asteroids. You've got a whole belt of Mentor Prime there. You can see has some moons as well. Moons are important because planets that have moons allow you to build certain things like moon bases, moon laboratories, or orbital shipyards and things later on when you have the tech for them. If we zoom out a bit, you can see this is a medium-sized galaxy. You can see obviously I chose a spiral galaxy, so everything's arranged in a rough spiral. And you can see already that it's gorgeous and there are lots of stars. Unlike Master of Orion 2, you actually fly between individual planets in your system to go around places. There's still the same principle where you can't just travel anywhere you like. You have to go along jump nodes to get to another place. Now, thus far, we have started with...
Controller, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yeah, he's just telling me everything, basically. I'm guessing there's a way to... Actually, let me go into options here. Can we turn off tutorials? No, we can't. I'm guessing we can turn off tutorials in time. So yeah, we've got 2 scout ships and a frigate. We will go over to the asteroid belt just so it's explored. And we will send both the scout ships down there. And we can see, as you get closer, you can sort of see what's coming up in the next system, that's pretty good. It's a red star, which means there's likely to be, you know, crap planets, but there are 3 of them, and at least one of them has a moon, you can see. So we'll find out in a minute, though, because it'll take, you know, another couple of turns to get there. So let's go and set our research in progress.
Controller, our labs are staffed and ready to start researching.
You can see
What
these
should we
are
focus
all
on?
the research options I can start researching, and next to it you can see the number of turns it'll take to research that tech. There is a full tech tree. Now this is one of the things they've changed, which I'm on the fence about. In Master of Orion 2, you didn't have a tech tree as such. There were like six or I think there were either 6 or 8 sort of areas of technology, like energy, physics, propulsion, and as you advanced in those, each time you advanced to the next level of that technology, you could choose one advancement from it. It made you choose. You couldn't research everything. You had to pick certain things. Now, Master of Orion, the new one, does have that. There are some techs later on, like if we go to the tech tree here, you can see, for example, down here, fusion weapons. There's a slash there. That means we can't, if we research that tech, we don't get all that stuff. We don't get fusion beams and fusion bombs. You have to choose one or the other. Similarly, ion fusion, you can choose either ion drives or an ion pulse beam. Xenology, you can choose either alien psychology or the alien management center. It's nice, but I'd rather see more force choices. I actually would rather have to choose biospheres or hydroponic farms. I would actually like to see them put the tech back in the way they used to have it, where you can pick one tech from everyone. I like having the tree. I don't mind the tree rather than the individual specific categories that branching out. It makes more sense. But I'd like them to force more choice. I would like to have, you know, I'd like, for example, if I research tachyon physics, to have to choose from those. It forces you to play, you know, it makes every game play a little differently, because you can't just research all the tech every time. You have to research specific things, and there isn't necessarily a right or wrong way to do it. And it also means that you have to trade with the other races or spy on them to get their techs. I would very much like to see force that choice on you. Now, arguably, there are some people who would say, yeah, but the reason they've done it this way is because in the original Master of Orion, there were some techs that you just never chose. Like, for example, when you research this one here, if you have a choice between shields or an ECM jammer, pretty much everyone's going to take the shields. There is something to say that, you know, you get, for example, that one there, and you then make a beeline for the next shield tech. But, you know, that's... I could see both ways of... I could see both schools of thought in it. I would very much be in favour, though, as noted, of them forcing the choice a little bit more. Making you choose... Not necessarily all of them, some of them let you have them all, but... The other one was in the original Master of Orion 2, you could, if you were playing as a creative race, like the Cylons, or a race you just chose creative, you could basically get all the techs at every level. That was their thing. In this, the Cylons just research tech faster. But yeah, I don't know. It's a change. I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad one yet. In some regards, I like it. In some regards, I liked the fact that it forced you to make choices in the original game, and it meant every game played out a little more differently. This time round, you know, you play through, you're going to research pretty much all the same techs every time. There's a few choices, but most of those choices aren't big deals. Like, for example, fusion weapons. Fusion beam or fusion bombs. Fusion bombs are not that big a deal, for example, because if you're bombing a planet, you're not usually in a massive rush to do it, and if you have enough ships, you're going to wipe them out anyway, even with crap bombs. Better beam weapons? Hell yes. Here, for example, most people are going to take the ion drives, unless you're immediately playing to research antimatter drives, for example. Well, you know, I can see not all the choices are quite so cut and dry. Warp fields, lightning field, or pulsars, you know, as you go on, you get more choices. The tech tree is pretty big, and I'm sure they plan to add a bit more stuff to it as time goes on as well. There's already stuff in there that doesn't do much at the moment, like, for example, anything relating, as noted, to espionage. Doesn't do anything, because there's no spies in the game yet. So...
There's new data you should take into account.
I don't think I actually chose a research option then,
Good
did I?
science takes
we are
time.
going to research, though, physics, because I like to research physics early, because I like automated factories. Automated factories, I find, allow you to get your colony's infrastructure up and going very quickly. It's a good way to start a colony, I find, is if you have that tech, you can, as soon as you colonize, using credits, buy the automated factory with production. It's not that expensive, and you'll, after a few turns, have enough money for it. And that gives you enough production that your colony can start building things on its own without having to wait to grow. Usually what I will then do, the way I play the game, the way I always played the old game, was automated factories, biospheres, hydroponic farms. Those three. You get those three as quickly as possible, then the colony has some basic production and some basic food production, so it'll start growing, and it can build other improvements as it goes. So, let's go to the next turn.
Controller, let me interrupt you for
You will, as well,
second.
as the game starts, get your first colony ship straight away. Normally, I would wait to explore the next system, but as I only have one warp point out of my system, we will immediately go over here. Same with our frigate. It's a bit of a double-edged sword like this, because obviously at the moment, whilst I can see there's a couple of planets over here in the cross system, I can't get there, so go Scouts go. You can move the whole fleet by just right-clicking, or you can select individual ships. I'm actually splitting these two up on purpose so I can send them to different places later. Mentar Prime finished its production, so let's have a look at the colony screen. much like the old game, you can move your people around for production, or food, or research. Unlike the old game, they've got a diminishing return system in here though, so if you just pile everyone into production, the first few you see you'll get 4 resources, then 3, then 2, and 2, and the rest will only give you 1. Same again, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, and it'll go down as you go. The amount of slots you have available to put people in is dependent on these factors up here, the size of the planet, the biome type, and the mineral availability affects essentially how much you get out of the planet in production. It's an abundant planet. I get quite decent production, not amazing. It's Terran, so I get quite a bit of food production out of it. And if you look at, for example, here, population limit is determined by the planet's size and biome. The size of the planet provides the space for population, and the biome affects how much of it is habitable. So it's a 16 size planet, 15 of which are inhabitable. I could improve that with some other things, with terraforming and things like that, or in this case, Gaia transformation to turn a Terran planet into a Gaia planet, which is like the best type of planet. Anyway, let's choose production. You can choose just one production at a time if you want, or you can set up a build queue. You can also set up a colony to auto-build stuff. I hate using auto-build. It takes, half the fun of the game is managing your colonies. You can also manage the stuff that's already on your planet. If you go to manage structures, you get this globe here. You can spin around, and you can click on individual buildings to see what they do. For example, here's my capital. You can't scrap the capital, which I think is a shame, because I think you should actually be able to scrap it so you can move it to another planet if you want to. But I guess it makes sense. In this case, it's your home world. It's where it starts. Marine barracks. I could scrap that immediately. I'm not going to need Marines anytime soon, but it's only costing me 1 maintenance. I can live with that. And it builds up as you go. We've got a starbase here. Starbases give you a bit of defense. Starbases at the moment, as of the time of me making this video, are broken. They are supposed to use the most up-to-date weaponry and technology and shields and so forth. I've found the game seems to fill them with your basic weaponry and never update them. That's kind of crap. I don't like that. I hope that will change. I assume it will change because the text says otherwise. Basically, later in the game, starbases provide absolutely no defense capability. You can flatten them with a few advanced ships. They shouldn't be too dominant, otherwise you don't need fleets to defend your colonies, but also you need a starbase to be able to build battleships or larger types of ships. The most important thing they do, though, is provide command points. Command points you can see up here. You have a total pool based on a few things, like in this case the capital provides 10, the starbase provides 5. Ships each provide, they cost command points effectively. If you don't exceed your command points limit, you don't have to pay any maintenance and credits on the ships, because they're essentially, command points is basically your military maintenance ability. It's your logistical ability to support your fleets. Anything beyond that, you have to pay, the surplus out of your civilian budget, as it were. So if you don't build enough bases and upgrade your comms tech and things like that, your ships will start costing you money, and it can get quite expensive quite quickly. Okay. So, now, the only thing I'll say about this is I would very much like to see them, whilst it's kind of cool to spin everything around, later on when you have loads of improvements on there, you'll notice there's no text on them. They're just little icons, and a lot of them, look kind of similar. When the building planet is covered in those little things, actually finding the one you're looking for to, if you've built one you want to scrap, for example, or that you just want to review and see if a planet has a something on it. If I look at a planet now, fair enough, it's only 3, but later on there'll be 20 or so things on there. It would be nice if when you choose this screen here, say in this big section down the side here, there was a list of the options. Just literally in this big blank space here, put what is on the planet. A text list that I can just scroll down and select from. you know, click the thing, it spins the thing. Makes sense. Little detail. Again, early access. The game is, you know, pre-alpha at the moment. Anyway, let's build something on here. We are going to build... Well, we haven't got a lot of options at the moment. We could build a research lab. I think we'll actually start building a space factory, which is basically a worker, which will allow us to turn those asteroids into useful things. I'm actually going to take this research guy out of here and stick him in production. I'll keep a little bit of research on because, you know, might as well, but... And then we'll go next turn again. And we'll go move, to move the fleets that are already moving. And then these guys can go and explore those too. Colony ship can move up, along with the frigate. Colony ships and scouts are non-military vessels. If they encounter anything hostile, they will just die. You only start out with one frigate, but early on, pirates are not that dangerous. My one frigate will slaughter a whole bunch of pirates. So yeah, we'll go next turn, and click move again. And we've explored 2 more planets. So what have we got here? We have an abundant swamp planet, which has artifacts on it. Artifacts will give me a research boost. It's an okay planet. And here is a toxic planet, which is bad, which means it doesn't have any food resources either early on. But it is abundant again, and it also has artifacts, so, you know, that's okay. These aren't great, though. What's over here? He can explore that, and this guy can move on. And then we'll end turn again. You'll find yourself skipping a lot of early turns. There's not a lot to do on them other than just, you know, explore a little bit. What have we got there? It's barren and it's abundant. Okay, it's not great either. You can move over there. You can set off for there. I think our frigate is going to head over here. And I think the colony ship... I don't want to wait too long to start colonizing places, so I'm actually going to colonize this swamp lake. A swamp is not great, it's not like Terran, but it's not bad. It will grow food, and it's a decent planet. So it's good enough place as any to start a colony on, so...
Controller, let me interrupt you for a second.
Okay, we've got our first space factory as well. Okay, let's choose production here.
Then remainder n equals fx and... Oh, wait! You need to know this.
Yeah, we know how that works. Okay, so we will start producing something else. And I think we're going to start building a research lab in this case. We're going to change that because we're about to finish our research. Let's go move.
Controller, new developments require your immediate attention.
They're en route. Ooh, big old planet over there. That might be a gas giant, though. Obviously you can't colonize gas giants, but later on, like asteroid belts, you can convert them to things. We will colonize this world, though, for now. And we get a nice little cutscene. See our awesome UFO colony ship as we colonize Lark's Prime. Not as good as our homeworld, but not bad either. Okay, at the moment we've got just the one Cylon worker here beavering away there, and we will build, well, not anything for a while yet, but we will start by building, I think, government support facility. Away from your home world, you have a morale penalty. Government support world will give you a morale boost. As you will see here, there's a morale penalty from taxes. Being on the home world, the people in the home will get a bonus from the capital. if your morale is down here, the 60% morale here, that's basically the percentage of the population that will actually work. So if I had 5 workers here, well, 2 of them would be on strike, and they wouldn't do anything because of the morale penalty. It's a neat little system, and I actually really like that. I think it's actually much better than the one they had with the way morale worked in the old games. Okay, so we got a space factory here. We're going to go straight over to these asteroids here.
Furthermore, controller, you might want to see this.
Ooh, we found an anomaly. We'll check for that in a minute. Ooh, it's actually out here. Can we get anomalies with space factories? Apparently we can. Which will be interesting if it's hostile, because I don't think you can be hostile. They're generally just like little bonuses, like credit boost or something. We'll send the space factory out there. Let's end turn now again. And we'll move these guys on.
Arriving at the anomaly, your fleet spots an abandoned container filled with rare minerals floating unguarded in open space. You tell yourself some smuggler on the run must have jettisoned their cargo. Nobody is around to claim it, so you add it to your treasury without a second thought.
61 credits free. Not a lot of money, but at this point, 61 credits is a quarter of my treasury, so that's not bad. That's not bad at all. You'll find anomalies like that just out off the space lanes when you get close enough to them and pick them up. So anyway, he can go back and get back to building that. We've entered this system. You can go over and explore that. And you guys can all move up here. And that's a yellow star. Yellow stars generally have good planets around them. So, also Zardin over here. Now those red lines there are unstable space lanes. You can't use them until you research a particular technology much later on. So I won't be able to go that way for now, but that works both ways. It also means if there's an enemy race over there, they won't be able to attack me either. So, at the moment, I'm being funneled down a pretty set path here. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it also means that I'm also only having to defend one way. Which means if I build up and colonize with here, I can just put all my defenses on the end of this line at the moment, and no one can get to me. Like, for example, I defend that point there, I'm safe, no one can attack me. That's pretty cool.
Even without me, our scientists have made a new discovery.
Anyway, we have researched something we've researched, and we've gained automated factories, as noted, which just help build, and we've gained neutron blasters, which are slightly, they fire beams of lethal neutron radiation. We can go update blueprints. It'll automatically...
Controller, new developments require your immediate attention.
Upgrade our frigate blueprint to neutron blasters rather than lasers. It won't actually upgrade the ship until the ship goes to a starbase, and then I can pay to upgrade it. That's one thing I do like. They have made the process of upgrading your existing designs really straightforward, and it does it very, very nicely for you. Now, we can research. These are all higher techs that take a while to research. At the moment, we just want the basic ones. Destroyers are nice. Anti-missile rockets are okay. But what I really want is hydroponic farms. As noted, hydroponic farms and factories, and to a lesser extent biospheres, are really important early techs.
Eureka!
But yeah, hydroponic farms and automated factories are the key to initial buildings for setting up new colonies, I find. So let's go to Mentar Prime, because we are going to change its build structure here. We are going to change it to build an automatic factory as the highest priority. It can get going on that. And Larax Prime can get going on an automated factory. You can drag it over here. You don't lose the production that's been put into that, it just stays there basically. If you cancel it, I think you do lose it though. But oh, hello?
I am the Emperor of the Bulrathi. If you wish to keep your flea-bitten pelt on your back, you give my kindred a wide berth.
We have encountered the Bulrathi. Okay. So, that's a Bulrathi scout. You can click on it to see what it is. So, it's not a military vessel. That also means the Bulrathi are down this way somewhere, and that's not so great because the Bulrathi tend to be fairly hostile.